Well, hello again to all of you very fine and wonderful people. Once again, is I, your friendly neighborhood host Sam, and I would like to welcome you once again to the newest edition of my weekly series of Weird Mind Newsroom, where we'll be doing another week of new releases, trailers, and news stories that have been found or brought up from the realm of media, and maybe a shorter one as well from this week compared to the last few weeks. So let's waste time with the usual introductions. Let's get to talking all things media we do have for this week.
They put the man to chief in the soul.
On the first of the new releases for this week will be, of course, one of the biggest releases of the summer in many ways, as would be the return of a hero who has had one of the most well-known in the world. But in this universe where many know the hero, the person behind the mask has been forgotten by everyone after many years and out of a spell, all to keep them safe, which will be beneficial. But in this instance, things are maybe about to change in many unexpected ways, as everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood wall crawler is back once more as we have the release of the fourth entry of this iteration of the character with Spider-Man Brand New Day. The following events of the spell that Doctor Strange cast at the end of No Way Home, the world has now forgotten that Peter Parker exists and is the identity of Spider-Man. Now 4 years have passed, he protects the city of New York as the iconic wall crawler, but soon the overwhelming pressure of crime fighting ignites a threatening physical evolution in Peter, forcing him to deal with things that may be investigating a series of crimes that lead to a more powerful threat. Reception of this new entry of the series has been very well received, with praise on the action, the character development, visuals, and for being a more solid Spider-Man story that took the better approach of the street level hero than going too big in multiverse craziness that the last one did, and seems to be already hitting a massive haul for the weekend. Are you ready for a brand new day? You can catch this film out now in cinemas. Our second trailer this week is one that has a bit of a journey to get released and made into a fully functioning product, as it was supposed to be released as early as January of this year, but some tech issues and required updates and fixes delayed the launch, but now they are ready to serve their purpose to companionship and possibly other means, but it becomes a bit too sentient and will become a little more of a bloody affair, as we return to the world of the series of Megan with a new, more R-rated mature entry of the series with a new spin-off known as Soulmate. In the film, we'll see a man who requires an adult android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife, but soon, however, in an attempt to create a fully sentient partner, he inadvertently turns a harmless love bond into a deadly soulmate. Now, reception on this new spin-off, from what I've seen from initial fairly critical reception, has not so far been a mix to a small few that both critics and audiences seem to be a bit better than they expected, and from praise on the character development of the main android and some of the graphic kills and concepts, though some elements like the other characters and narrative could feel a little lacking, or just like some other films. But if you want to check it out for yourself, you can buy this film now in a digital storefront. On our television side this week is another return to the realm of superheroes, but we are going to the other side of the heroes of DC, and to another one of the most popular and well-known heroes in the world, as we back to strike fear and protect his city by any means of justice. As after 2 years since the first debut of this spiritual follow-up to the original animated series, we'll be dying to cowl once more with the release of the second season to Batman Caped Crusader. Now the series will continue on for the events of the first season in the more gothic underbelly of the neo-noir period, as we follow Bruce Wayne in his early years as the Caped Crusader on his one-man war against crime and more powerful adversaries including the Riddler, Penguin, and the Joker. Now reception on this new season follow-up, like the first one, has been very well received, with praise in the animation, characters, and narrative, and seen as a possible improvement over the first season. If you're up for some more new stories in the noir-based Gotham, then you can catch this new season now on Amazon Prime. Our second TV show for this week is one that will be giving us a trip back to the world and series where some strange elaborate anomalies can occur from the pair of strange family members, but in this case we're not focusing too much on those two, but rather on one of the characters that do appear now and again across the series, as they'll be sorting out some of their own issues and ordeals that those two couldn't care to get involved with, as we return to the world of Rick and Morty with the release of the new spin-off in the form of President Curtis. Then a new series will follow the Commander-in-Chief, that's voiced again by Keith David, as eccentric staff they tackle the kind of crisis that Rick Sanchez could not be bothered with, from interdimensional diplomacy to paranormal investigations and unexplained phenomena. Now reception of this new spin-off so far seems to be decently received, with praise on the performances, particularly of the always charming Keith David, the visuals, narrative, and being a more chilled version of the overly elaborate forms of the main series, that while it can be a little slow at first, it does improve as the season goes on. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can catch the first episode now on HBO Max, with a new episode releasing every Sunday night or Monday morning. And for our last new release this week, we'll be heading back to the blast from the past and heading off the focus of space, as we head back to the time of a series that had Aura launched a console company into the stratosphere and helped to create one of the gaming's most iconic figures and mascots that may have faltered in recent titles according to many, but we'll be going back to where it all began to do one thing, and that is to finish the fight, as we have the release of where the chief story began with a remake of the original title of Halo Campaign Evolved. This of course will be the remake of the original title, and we'll see you take control of John Master Chief, a cybernetically enhanced super soldier from the 26th century, and his AI companion Cortana, who alongside his team of the United Nations Space Command will do battle against the alien bureaucracy known as the Covenant, where they attempt to discover the secrets of the Pony's Halo, a strange ring-shaped artificial world. Now, reception to new remake seems to be well received with praise on the visuals, gameplay, and beloved story and multiplayer. Though criticized the new prologue missions as feeling very lacking and unnecessary, and some feeling it is a desperate attempt to keeping Halo alive that has been faltering a bit in choices, but let's hope they will take the right things from this remake and save the franchise in the future. If you want to play it for yourself, you can play it now on Xbox Series X and S, PC, and for the first time on PlayStation 5. With all that regards now, that's all the new releases we do have this week.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
On the first of the trailers this week is one that I was unsure if this was a Comic-Con trailer or one that came after, but in this case of things, it would fit in the form of the item that you would see at these conventions, and that is in the focus of the wide world of merchandising. As what we have seen the likes of those beloved building bricks, knockoffs, dolls that could be anything, and a fair bit more, it looks like we're going to the side of toys for the cool boys, and going very fast and full of extreme stunts and interesting design choices, as we have the release of the trailer for the upcoming film based on the toy product of Matchbox. The film will follow Sean Walker, played by John Cena, a spy and former soldier who reunites with childhood friends, only to be drugged and kidnapped by a group who are looking for a nuclear warhead. The CIA now will soon believe that Walker and his friends stole the warhead, so in the sense to clear their names, will look in any way to re-steal the warhead back from the criminal group. In all sense of things, I feel this is probably the most elaborate and over-the-top concept and story you could make out of a project of a range of small toy cars. This feels like a storyline from the Fast and Furious that was seen as a bit too extreme, even for the series that was defying all laws and common sense. With this series, the point of maybe there is a reason the massive lore of these toys, and maybe it will be one of those titles that will have a focus of having no sense whatsoever, but maybe an entertaining popcorn flick to stick to in the background or something. But I've been surprised with films based on products and toys beforehand, so I guess we'll see by the outcome of this release when it releases on Apple TV Plus from the 9th of October. Our second trailer this week will be the last of the big titles that will be coming out around the festive season, and after a fair amount of waiting and uncertainty of when we will see this bit of footage, but we'll be time to see the case that starting from the board game to video game to one that is not the overly perfect functioning state, to where we will evolve into one more big action adventure for one last go around, as we have finally gotten the release of the third film's trailer in the reboot take on the 90s classic film with Jumanji Open World. Now the film will follow immediately on from the events of the next level, and we'll see Spencer, Fridge, Bethany and Martha having escaped from the perilous obstacles of Jumanji twice now. But this time, the world of Jumanji has broken free from its console, unleashing the characters and chaos into the real world. I'll bring even more challenges along the way. Now the concept of this reboot series was once years ago when it was first announced that it was a dead in the water concept, with issues stemming from the character choices, castings, Karen Gillan's outfit, and the case that was pale in comparison to the original with the late Robin Williams in the main role. But then the film came out and was a surprisingly entertaining film that respects the original, provided a fun adventure during the holiday season. And it was the same with the sequel before that also proved a success, and now with this one, I'm out the bat actually very excited for this title, and it seems like this would be the best method it could go with this title, as it charm with the avatars and could be some interesting development from some of the others along the way. I also have some good gags from the footage I've seen in the trailer so far, and I hope in all case of things this will be a pretty satisfying finale of a surprisingly entertaining trilogy. And I hope as well it will not be dead on arrival from the release date for it, because it comes out around the holiday season when everything is coming out. But in all sense of things, I will watch everything else out at the time. I'll find a point to check it out, and I hope you will as well when the film was unleashed into the cinemas from, I believe, Christmas Day, but I would say December 26th. Our next trailer is the newest focus on taking the world of literature and taking the expansive and elaborate narratives and world found in these pages and translate it into a full-fledged adaptation. But there is a bit of layers and drama about this title series itself that comes from the person that wrote it, but we will get into it in a moment, as we will delve into the world of fantasy in focus as we have the release of the first trailer for the upcoming new adaptation of Children of Blood and Bone. Now based on the first novel by Tomi Adamai, the film is set in the fictional realm of Araishia. It will follow a journey of a young woman named Zeli who embark on a quest to reclaim the ability to use magic that has people used in hearts to control before it was violently stolen from the people by a mad king. So I'm not overly familiar with the series itself, as it's more of a recent new book series that started about maybe a decade ago, but in the case of things from what I've learned, the novels sound like an interesting take on race and social injustice, has a lot of deep interesting lore that spanned a popular trilogy of books, and I can appreciate the casting of some well-known and some newcomers that fit the culture, although that's also caused a bit of trauma as well. It's some of the bigger names kind of overtaking for people of the country it's based on. Now I've mentioned there has been some other drama as well, as the original author who wrote the film has apparently distanced himself recently to this title and unfollowed one of the stars, and while I have no idea of what happened on the set, the case of the original creator behind them is a bit of a concern. The other issue I'll have from this trailer is who chose the music for this trailer, because Beyonce's music track feels really off-putting and majorly distracting, but maybe they can learn from the next trailer. But I guess we'll see from these concerns should there be a focus, but I guess we'll find out by the film's release into cinemas from the 5th of February next year. Now the next trailer is one that I think is a bit of a new take on a film project from the past, but in the focus of what is behind and in front of the camera is making it, it seems to be a bit of a passion project for them and will be hopefully worth stealing for, as we have the release of the new trailer for the new take on the classic heist film of the Thomas Crown Affair. Now the film will follow the titular character played by Michael B. Jordan, a billionaire who cleverly steals a painting while another heist attempts it fails. Following an insurance investigator, Adria Arjona, who plays her, the two will soon fall in love during this elaborate cat and mouse game. Now I'm not overly familiar with the original takes on the film, as this is the second remake, as we had the original back in 1968 and then the one from about 30 years ago, 99, with Pierce Brosnan. So the idea is that giving this a new take on it, with the leading man also being behind the camera, could be an interesting one. And I feel in that case that you could update every few decades with the evolving methods and means of the narrative, and I'm intrigued to see how Jordan approached the heist-based film. But I guess we can find out about the release of the film in cinemas from the 5th of March next year. The next trailer in focus is one that sounds, from the naming of the film, like the likes of what studio is making it, you would assume this would be some form of an overly elaborate horror film that could be connected to some other established art tales. But in this case, this may be going more in the direction of a romance, and not just a standard one, but one that'll be quite the possibly overly raunchy one, just from the footage, as we've released the trailer for the upcoming new title known as Wicker. Now, the new film will focus on a fisherwoman played by Olivia Colman, an outcast who requests the village basket weaver played by Peter Dinklage to build her a husband for herself made out of wicker, and soon the sense of marriage material and the raw, passionate lovemaking becomes the real talk of the town. So I've heard a bit about this, and from the title I was thinking this was going to be some form that was connected to the Wicker Man horror movies, but then I watched the trailer and learned some more about it, and it was honestly surprised by the outcome of what was presented to me in the footage and how much of this was giving me a little bit of a favorite tone, but with more raunchier in form. And the idea seems like a fun original concept that all stemmed from a simple short story. And after watching the trailer and hearing all the very strong praise that it garnered from Sundance, I'm intrigued to check this out, as the film will be woven it to completion with its release in the cinemas from the 30th of October. With all that regards now, that's all the new trailers that we do have for this week.
And you'll never see me coming.
So we'll be back for another serving of some stories and topics in our usual serving of the realm of the hodgepodge, as we'll be in the focus of some stories from different realms and other footage topics of the week as we have overall. So let's see what we came from us in this week of the focus, but we can see what's been served up. So our focus will start in the realm of the side of superheroes for a fair few of these stories at first, and some of them are what I would see as being a bit disappointing and bring up a few questions of what the studio in particular. But let's start with the ones from Marvel, as this was potential to be another solid outing, as while it was initially renewed for another season, it was announced this week that the second season of Wonder Man will now not be happening and will be ending with just one season. Now, it's not giving an indication as to why it was just suddenly shelved, as many would watch this said it was one of the finest takes and additions to the MCU in recent memory, and having just it all come crashing down suddenly feels very disappointing. Now, I have my fears of why it could be your deal, with the first being that if maybe the case the original creator of Destin, Daniel Cretton, is a busy man now for Marvel, with him working on the eventual sequel to Shang-Chi and the Legend of 10 Rings, and him just taking the reins releasing the new Spider-Man film just this week, may have had to put on this on the back burner for the moment in time. Or the other theory is that they could have Simon and Trevor appear in a future film entry, and it could be case he could be appearing in the form like the West Coast Avengers or something, but akin to that. But I guess we'll have to see what comes along. It is a shame, as I really enjoyed the first season. I felt it could have had fixed some elements I had with the follow-up, but I hope we'll see more of the bromance of Simon and Trevor real soon, as I enjoy their dynamic. But in all case, if there's anything new about these new characters in the future, I'll let you know in a later episode. Just jumping over to DC just for one moment, the lasting underwhelming news for this instance, it looks like another project in the show that could have had the potential and have a shining sense of gold may be possibly deteriorating, as a report this week that the now planned series based on the hero Booster Gold may no longer be moving forward at DC. Now, it's not the case of it being fully dead and buried, it's mainly been said from the initial showrunner of David Jenkins, who did Our Flag Means Death, who's echoed Ali's comments about Marvel with this in the case of not being able to get the right story working for this hero, but it still seems the character will still likely have a chance in the future for the studio itself. I feel what it comes down to of concern is basically in the likes of trying to get people to understand who this character is, and the other big question on who would they get to play the role, as you've had to get your choice of your Ryan Goslings, your Chris Pratts, and your Glenn Powells, but some of even big ones have been people made as a choice, as if it was like Will Poulter, Kumail Nanjiani, and one that people have really heavily fan casted was YouTuber and Goldberg star Shane Topp from Smosh. And after a while of seeing those stories and fan castings, I've become convinced on that latter choice. I do hope we will see some of these more unknown heroes of the comics DC to get their chance in the near future, but I guess we will see on the outcome of the whole project in the future. And if there are any new updates, I'll let let you know in another episode. We will, however, get some good news on the superhero side of things. We do have one new addition of some casting news, and heading back over to Marvel for this one, as we have some updates on the beginning of the growing planned cast of the Mutants and X-Men. Now, we have seen some already established in the MCU with Deadpool, Wolverine, and Gambit, new reworked takes on mutants with Namor and Ms. Marvel both being now seen as mutants, and then some upcoming appearances of other characters like Xavier, Magneto, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Mystique, just to name a few. But in the case we were looking to get some more insight and some more future appearances, and while we wait to see the consensus of who Sadie Sink is playing in the appearance in Brand New Day, and some more new rumors for the others like Jensen Ackles now being another contender for Magneto, and Obsession breakout star Indy Navarrete wanting to play the new version of Mystique for the MCU. We do have one that has been officially confirmed as of this week. It was announced that Ready or Not star Samara Weaving has been cast as Emma Frost in this growing X-Men lineup. Now honestly, I think this is a really solid choice in the case. I've seen this as being one that's not overly considered or chosen by many. It seems like the only actress they really seem to push all the time with all these like female superhero roles is Sydney Sweeney, and I'm all for this choice in regards to Samara Weaving. Now I'm intrigued to see what they will do. We get in the rest of this planned new updated form of the mutants, and if someone like James Gamble will still be around, but I'm sure we'll see as time goes on for more additions to be made, and an update on any more new additions as time goes on in a later episode. For one of the other casting news that we have for this week is connecting back to one of the names mentioned in the last story. We do have a possible update or report for another name that has appeared in the decade's highest grossing original, and it seems they may be going from romantic horror focus to action adventure with still some elements of horror in there. As reported that Obsession star Michael Johnston may have been cast in the upcoming fourth film of the Mummy series with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Now in this case, it could be the length in the time since the second film, as I believe they are making a third film not canon. They could have been married and had a kid and likely could play their older son, or he could be a new form of the villain and titular monster, but I guess we'll have to see what will come of this, and then this has been made official. I'm sure we will see what will come about this project. Will soon be heading into production for its release. I believe it's next October, but I'm sure we can see what shall come of it. And if any new additions come about this and anything else come along, I'll let you know in a later episode. And our last story this week is in the form of a project update that's not a focus on superheroes, but more in the case of a new adaptation that could be based on some gaming additions, but I know is more on the elaborate worlds of miniatures and massive battles, as there's an update coming along for a new adaptation of Warhammer 40k that is being helmed by Henry Cavill. And as reported, the horror author, director, and writer of Mike Flanagan will be writing the script for the upcoming series. Now initially, when I saw this announcement, my main question was if they were a big fan of the game and series itself, but in most cases, Flanagan is usually solid in the writing department, and I hope his take on Clayface later this year will be a solid outing. So I'll be giving him a chance in this regards. Now I'm intrigued to see what will come of this adaptation. Hopefully Cavill will be at least one break of a solid project for them. So we'll just see what comes about this, and hopefully not let it down, but I guess we'll see. And if I hear any more additions about this, I'll let you know in a later episode. But in this case, what are your thoughts that was discussed? Are you disappointed in the sudden cancellation of Wonder Man? Do you see Booster Gold still happening, and who would you cast as the main lead? What are your thoughts on Weaving as Emma Frost, and who else do you see as the new takes on the mutants? Who do you see Johnston playing the new Mummy film, if it is happening? And do you think Flanagan is a good choice for the Warhammer series? Let me know what you think down below, and with all that regards, that's all the news stories that we do have this week.
Holy shit, it's Spider-Man!
And now in case with all of that ends episode 167 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I hope you're doing ramblings for hopefully around 20 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's give a quick roundup ramblings of what's coming along in the channel. So we'll start with reviews. Reviews wise, I'm going to get a finish on that Last of Us review. I'm going to go on to TADC soon after, and I'm going to do some other films in regards to things. I've already mentioned about Spider-Man, so I'll probably do him. August is kind of a bit of a quiet month. The only one's really jumping out to me in regards to things. I'll probably go to End of Oak Street, and I'll go to Kaya vs. Acme, maybe Dog Stars as well. So at least those three things, but I'll go back to a few other ones to catch up on, like Minions. I'll probably sit through Moana, probably some other ones as well, but I'll look from the case of things. I'll do the reviews for those. A few of them might do snack size box office off them, as well as a case of other genres, lengths, and other things. So look forward to those in due time. The gameplays then, we're going to do some more, we're going to upload more VODs of Tomodachi Life. I have a few more at least to upload, and I'm going to upload more when I can. I'm going to try and stream more. I've been kind of like lacking on a bit. The last week has been nuts. Probably get more streaming done in case of things. I want to try and at least do a few more games as well mixed in with Tomodachi Life. So maybe like sort of Persona, Fire Emblem, maybe some CODs, Alan Wake, Resident Evil, as well. Get back to Mario Wonders, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Star Wars Outlaws, Cyberpunk, all those other ones, as well as some new games like Ventilate, as well as a case of other things as I mentioned. So we'll look forward to those in due time. Keep an eye on my Twitch and follow me there if you want to see more for streams. In the case of long form stuff, I'm going to get back to the rewatch of Fawn. I'm going to get back to the AI on shows video. I'm going to get back to the Harmos Boar and more variations of long form stuff, and as well in case just download that Pikachu time-lapse ones and just trim them down to make them the videos, but I will figure them out when I possibly can. But in this regards of things, I'll leave the episode there for now. So you want to see more from me more frequently, simply like, subscribe. I upload new stuff every single week. I'm aiming for 750 to 1,000 subs this year, so any support would be greatly appreciated, and I thank all those for joining along. Let me know your thoughts and everything discussed this week from the releases down below, from new releases, trailers, and news stories. Get yourself 10% off Pure Crack with my code Sam Harrison. It's all one word with all caps, and link in the description down below to find that. With that regards to things, I'll leave the episode there for now. So as always, you all stay wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, and keeping you because no one else do what you do, and take care of yourself because mental health is very important. Now, I've been your host Sam, of course, and I'll see you all in the next episode. So take care, and I shall see you later.